Уважаемые дамы и господа,
ladies and
рад
gentlemen,
приветствовать вас.
I'm glad to greet you here. Let me introduce our guest here, Minister of Energy of the Russian Federation, Alexander Novak. Good morning, dear friends. I'm glad to greet you here in the city of Sochi at the World Festival of Youth and Students. I hope you like the city of Sochi and you have a chance to see the city which once hosted the Winter Olympics. This is a unique city, one of my favorite cities of our country and maybe of the whole planet. The city is unique because you can combine swimming and skiing in the city, and we can hold both Winter and Olympic Games. And of course, holding such a small-scale event gives us a chance to change opinions, to get contacts, to have discussions on many issues in the spheres of economics, sports. I remember the last festival of 1985, which was held in Moscow. I was 14 years old and I watched it on TV, some fragments of this festival, and I really envied the people who had such a chance to participate in such international events. And of course, I was hoping of participation like this. So I have a great honor to meet you now and to communicate. Just not being a young specialist, not being a student, but anyway, as head of the Ministry of Energy, I would like to tell you some trends in the sphere of energy which are happening now, to answer your questions, to share some knowledges, some experiences, the experiences of my own job. And anyway, I'm sure that you young people have the future because all the breakthrough ideas are coming from younger people, from the students or from those who just start work, who have a fresh glance at the enterprise, who have fresh views, and I think that just your young heads have the ideas which can help to develop economics. And you are the ones on whom depends our future. You are the ones who will bring up your people to care for nature, to care for the resources, and their future developments will depend on you. So I would like you to to look forward to not to be afraid of getting new ideas, to get new knowledge. And I think that today we are living in a very interesting time. And I think that 10 years ago, just in the beginning of the 2000s, we could not imagine about the changes which are taking part now in all the spheres of our life, in economy. There are some figures that in the latest 5 years, the world such a huge volume of information has been generated in the world, which amounts for 95% of all the information of the whole history of mankind. So this process is developing and accelerating. We could not imagine 10 years ago that we would have telephones, mobile, that we would have a video connection. Of course, we had some smartphones, but the new technologies allowed us to have a new look at the world. So we are living in the epoch of digitalization, when the digits, so the digitalization in all the spheres of our life in the economy. Yesterday, there was a very interesting discussion in Moscow. Now there is a forum in Moscow on the open open innovations, and futurists and scientists, famous scientists are taking part in this forum. Yesterday there was a Prime Minister, Medvedev, and Jack Ma, the head of the Alibaba company and one of the futurists who participated yesterday. He lives in New York, a famous scientist, Mayota Koka is his surname. He is working in New York at City College, and he talked about the future, interesting future, which will change the world completely. He talks about the new perspectives that your generation is going to have new computer technologies, new computer maps, which will cost very cheaply, just some copies or some cents. And in fact, it will allow to spread these chips in lenses. The internet will be managed by the wink of the eye, and you won't have to remember all the information. You will be able to get any information from the internet. This will change the systematic education. We'll have to understand how and what to teach people. Now we are conducting some experiments in digitalization of the human mentality, human minds, to memorize in memory to the internet technologies. So you'll have to record your feelings and emotions, and just all your feelings and emotions which happened to you 20 years ago, for example, when we were in Sochi. So there will be an artificial intellect or robots which will substitute for many human processes, and labor force will be free. So we are going to use artificial intellect of the robots in medicine, for example. The robots can help to get consultations, to get advice, to get consultations in education, in medicine. These technologies are being developed, and they are going to be introduced more and more in our life. There is such a famous futurologist, Ray Kurzweil. You might have heard of him. He wrote what expects us, what are we going to expect in the sphere of artificial intellect. For example, there are some thoughts by this futurologist. He's a technical director of Kuku, Ray Kurzweil. He said that in 2019, the cables will perish into the past. So all our gadgets will be wireless. The information will be wireless. In 2019, the personal computer will catch the power which is equal to the human brains. By 2021, the wireless access to the internet will cover 85% of the territory of the globe. By the year 25, there will be a mass market of the implant gadgets, which can be introduced and which can acquire any information. By the year 27, similar to personal computer, the personal robots will appear. So this device will be as usual as the fridge or the coffee machine, and these personal robots, you will give orders to these personal robots, for example, what medicines do you need. You will take advice from these robots, in the medicinal terms, or you'll consult what papers you need to buy some real estate, or just to make any legal transactions. So any direction will be possible. So, and this device will be very usual. Then there is a prediction of computer simulation for the human brain by the year 28. In 20 years, he predicts the robotized humans. Then by the year of 40, the search by internet will be made by not just by voice, so by the mental request. So as soon as you think you'll get the information via lenses or via the chips which are installed in your eyes, by the year of 45, the Earth will turn into the huge global computer. So these are the futurologist predictions, forecasts. The Ray Kurzweil is famous that his forecast coincides with what he predicted in the past. So we didn't know about the existence of iPhone and smartphones. So it seems not to be realistic, probable, but we have to listen to this forecast, and probably the life will develop in a spiral way in this direction. So it's not my topic, of course. I'm a minister of energy. Of course, I should tell you more about energy issues. But why I touch this topic? Because the sphere of energy is similar to all these processes which I have just mentioned, all the challenges, all the changes in the energy, they are connected with the digitalization, with the developments of new technologies. So I should probably say that the key changes I see in the sphere of energy. First of all, I should tell that all the processes will take a lot of energy, and the growth of economies in many countries will be accompanied by the energy consumption. So the issues of energy saving, some technologies allow to spend less energy, and the tempo of energy use. So the economy will grow twice as much by the year 2040, but the energy use will grow only by 30%. But this is anyway the huge and colossal amount. What is going to happen in the structure? The share of consumption as an end product of energy will grow. Now we are using this energy to get warmth, to get steam. So from year to year, we start to use more and more energy in the kind of electricity. We need more and more electricity for the internet, for electromobile, for charging our gadgets, just for all the electrical devices. So the use of energy will grow in the future. So the production of energy will grow twice as much compared to the economic growth. So, and we are living in the epoch of revolution in the electricity. The electricity appeared 100 years ago, and now there is an active development of electricity. And this is connected to robotization, to the appearance of the artificial intellect, to the development of new technologies, of smart cities, of smart networks. energy consumption is one of the direction. So what's happening to be in the sphere of the hydrocarbons? Many experts think that the hydrocarbons will remain a source of energy for some decades as the main source of energy. So to produce the electro-energy, it must be produced. So how to produce it? We can burn the hydrocarbons, or just we should invent new technologies to produce energy from the sun, from the wind, some geothermal energies, more and more wind and solar energy production. These sources now take more and more, so play a more active role in many countries. So when saying the figures today, 80% is of the economy is consumption of energy, and
по оценкам, примерно на 10-15% снизится, то есть до 70-75%. Эту нишу займет как раз возобновляемые источники
new restorable sources of energy, solar and wind, energy will take 20% of the energy production. So there was a technology just like big oil. Everybody thought that there is not enough oil on the earth, and so we cannot extract more oil than we are doing now. But with the development of new technologies for extraction, in the extraction of oil, all the technologies allowed to extract new strata which were considered to be not efficient. And so the theory of Picot lost its actuality. Now thanks to the new technologies, just of producing electro-energy, so we have now, we know that we have enough oil, enough gas, but we are not going to consume more than that. So we are going to reach the peak of energy consumption, and now we think when this period will stop.
Снижаться общий объем в физическом выражении, потому что энергопотребление будет расти. В физическом выражении будет расти точно потребление нефти и газа, а угля, наверное, да, не будет такого роста потребления.
There won't be more growth of oil and gas, and it will reach the peak. So these are the trends as for hydrocarbons. As for the new sources of wind and solar sources of energy, they will grow up to 30% by the year 2040. New technologies will prevail, solar and water. The technologies which can substitute the energy production. So when I mention the digitalization, I mean not the electro-energy, the energy consumption. I also mean the oil and gas extraction. And today there is a process of digitalization of oil wells. Now we have some deposits which have been digitalized, and there are databases were created. These technologies lead to the fact that the computer can calculate which wells are to be used and where should the wells be found, what technologies should be used. And my colleagues, which are into gas and oil sector, they say that the machines do better this job, and they give recommendations how to work out the deposits. So the artificial intellect is going to take over the human mind, human intellect. And in the future, when these technologies will be spread widely, when there will be more chips and sensors, then it will bring to the more efficiency, and those who will learn the technologies quicker, those will be more competitive on the energy markets, and this is a trend. When coming back to the new trends which can change the energy, these are the research in the sphere of accumulators. Now we have good accumulators, just ion batteries, which are quite effective to charge the automobiles, and they are becoming more and more competitive. But to actively introduce the modern sources of energy as solar and wind, we need bigger accumulators which can give more powers when we have, in the period when we don't have either wind or sun. So we don't have these technologies. Many countries are working on these technologies, and I think that your generation will living just with these new technologies, and you maybe participating in creating these technologies. They might change the energy sphere, and you'll probably won't have to build the wires, the cable stations to distribute energy. Probably you'll have to accumulate energy, the energy of the sun and the wind, to transform the energy sector. So science is working now on transmitting the energy for big distances. There are ultra-powerful transmission lines which can transmit the energy on big distances. Another direction is wireless transmitting of energy. This system is being introduced, and there are some technologies based on Wi-Fi, and these technologies will be more and more introduced. Just in the near future, we'll forget what a socket is. Now we have lots of sockets in our flats where we plug the gadgets. But I think that, in my opinion, they will perish soon. And I should point out that there might be new sources of energy in the future. The science is working to use hydrogen as a source of energy. You might have heard about the hydrogen engine for automobiles, and the hydrogen is endless, is enough on the planet. So this source of energy can be one of the main ones on the planet. And from the point of view of traditional hydrocarbons, there are resources of frozen or hydrocarbons in the sea, water in the depth. There are some deposits of carbohydrates or hydrocarbons, and so the problem of using of hydrocarbons can be very cheap in the future. So I wanted to tell you some challenges and trends in the energy sphere And in conclusion, I would like to say that Russia today is one of the leading energy countries in the world. We extract, so we are first in oil extraction, and we are second largest exporter after Saudi Arabia. In gas extraction, we are the first, we are the second, but we are the first in the export. So we are introducing the renewable sources of energy, and one of the new trend is using the gas as the purest ecological source. So these technologies are also being introduced. So I should say that we are the country that is not just extracting the hydrocarbons, but also introducing and new technologies in the export direction and in the extraction. And for the future, we plan to be to work on these competitive markets and to develop the most innovative technologies. So those who are interested in this topic, please come and participate in this very interesting topic. Thank you. Thank you, Mikhail. The Energy Minister and the Minister of Energy support their young people. So colleagues, have you heard of the festival which is called Together and Brighter? The topic of energy saving is very important, and one of the directions of the energy development, all the globe is in charge of it, and when we just invented this competition. So our aim was to involve in energy saving many people and to change the attitude to the energy resources. So the new generation, the younger generation, is going to be aware of energy saving. It is just like a propaganda of energy saving, energy efficiency. And this competition is going to take part for the second time. 2 weeks ago in our country, there was a big forum, the Russian Energy Week, which had so many participants from all over the world, and heads of companies and heads of authorities. The ministers visited the forum, and there was a Day of the Earth. We conducted competition and contest for the best ideas, and at the forum, the students and young people signed their letters just to support the 19th Festival of the Youth and Students, and I'm going to hand over these letters to you. So we are speaking about the energy saving and the attitude, and a good attitude to the nature and natural resources. So I'm from Kazan. You mentioned about the trends in the energy sphere, about the trends in the digitalization in the world. So this year I graduated from the Kazan University. While I see your faces familiar, probably we met in Kazan. So we are trying to follow some definite trends. There is an Institute of Digitalization, the chair of the renewable sources. So I would like to ask you, what trends in the sphere of the education in energy? So what is the main guidelines, the direction of the education in terms of the energy education? As for Kazan, I'll be there on Saturday and some days on the 21st of October. So I'll probably I'll try to visit your center, energy center on energy efficiency. It was created at the Kazan University. As for the education, now we are working out the standards jointly with the Ministry of Education, which should consider the changes which are taking place on the market today. New professions are turning up, and we need new specialists which could be adapted and could be ready to work with the newest technologies. And I think that we have to change the standards of education because the process is going on. We have concluded some agreements with the leading universities, and the ministries give orders to prepare the professionals. I think that there will be new professions in energy and some robotized technologies, material sciences, the material sciences which are used in energy. I think that parts of older professions, of some older professional standards will be left in the past, and there will be just more demand on intellectual labor, on robotization and digitalization. So hello, so I'm from the Republic of Komi, Chita University. Of course, the oil and gas industry is a leading one in Komi, and I'm saying now on behalf of all the students that it is very problematic to start working for some energy company, and when we come to the oil and gas forum, so the question is, where can I get this experience if you don't let us work for you? So, as you have a big experience, tell me please, where can I get this experience? You know, where you can get the experience. Probably when studying, you must have some practice. When I studied in the summer, I had practices. Starting from the third year, and in the end of my studies, I acquired some experience, so I got the job, having experience behind. So as far as I know, that some universities in Moscow Energy University, specialized universities, where I'm a member of the watching committee, I know that 90% of all the students find jobs with the energy companies. And if you have such problems, let's sort out this problem. Of course, staff renewal is happening every year, and 100,000 students who graduated from the universities, so they come to the oil and gas enterprises, and the companies hire them. With some universities, the companies conclude special agreements on preparation of specialists, and they cooperate with the chairs, they exchange specialists, they help with the equipment to prepare specialists. So this is a signal, which unexpected signel, which is coming from you. So I'm ready to sort out the question, and I'm going to help your university. Actually, we have one active person, Georgy Kurchev, and I think he's going to help you. So it's a good topic. So some foreign people, or some foreign guests, for example, let's give the floor to a foreign guest. Thank you very much. When I came here, when I was in the airport, I saw the mountains, sea, so the welcoming people, and I thought that I was in a fairy tale. And now that I'm standing in front of the energy minister of Russia, this is more than that. I am from Czech Republic. I graduated the UFA University, and I'm proud that I studied in Russia. Their teachers, their lecturers are very good, very kind, always very helpful. So I graduated with the red diploma. What is your faculty? Drilling of oil mining and gas mining. So I dreamt of working in the oil and gas extraction company, but unfortunately there are some difficulties in reaching my dream. Now I want to use this possibility and ask you to help me to reach my goal, to make my dream come through. Please hand over your CV to me, so I'm ready. Besides, the person is with a red diploma, so I'm surprised that you are still not working. So did you appeal to some companies? So I submitted my CVs many times to some companies, but didn't get any answer. In my country, just as we have some critical situations, some crisis with oil and gas mining, so that's why they rejected my resume. Well, what companies did you address? So they are not our companies, by the way. They are American companies. So if the Americans don't hire you... Please, address the Russian company. Do you mind to work for the Russian company? Well, agreed.